Hello, and welcome back to Sleeping Gift. Tonight, allow me to share a story to accompany you as you drift off to sleep. Before we go any further, take a slow and gentle breath. Let the calm air fill your chest, then slowly exhale. Release every burden you have been carrying. Let your imagination gently guide you into this story. Now, let's begin the story. Breathe in, breathe out, and let me take you away for a moment into a story. Sleep peacefully in a tall treehouse, a calming story to overcome insomnia and anxiety. Before we enter this story, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Now it is time for us to step into this journey. You stand at the base of an ancient, sprawling oak tree, its roots deep in the cool earth and its branches reaching for the twilight sky. The world behind you is fading, its noises replaced by the soft, rhythmic chirping of crickets in the tall grass. Before you hangs a sturdy ladder made of weathered wood and soft, thick hemp rope, waiting to lead you upward. You place your hand on the first rung, feeling the smooth, cool texture of the wood beneath your palm. With each step you take, you feel lighter, as if the weight of the day is staying down on the forest floor. The air grows fresher and cooler as you climb, filled with the scent of pine needles and damp moss. You pass the first level of branches, where the leaves are a deep, velvet green in the fading light. A gentle breeze brushes against your cheek, carrying the quiet secrets of the forest canopy. You look up and see the treehouse, nestled perfectly among the strongest limbs, a wooden sanctuary cradled by nature. The ladder ends at a small wooden platform, and you step onto it, feeling the solid, grounding strength of the tree. You pause for a moment to breathe, inhaling the pure, oxygen-rich air that only exists at this height. The bark of the tree beside you is intricate and rough, a beautiful map of decades of growth. You reach the door of the treehouse, crafted from aromatic cedar that smells like calm and safety. The door opens with a soft, muted click, inviting you into a space where time does not exist. You step inside, and your feet find a plush, hand-woven rug that feels like walking on a cloud. The room is dim, lit only by the silver glow of the rising moon filtering through the high windows. You close the door behind you, and the last of the world's distant echoes vanish completely. You are safe here, high above everything, held in the arms of the great oak. You walk toward a large, circular window that looks out over the endless sea of leaves. The canopy below looks like a soft green ocean, undulating gently in the evening wind. The treehouse is warm, kept cozy by thick walls and the natural insulation of the surrounding foliage. In the corner, a small copper kettle sits on a warming stone, giving off a faint, comforting hiss. You find a stack of soft, linen blankets piled high on a daybed made of reclaimed driftwood. Each blanket is a different shade of blue and gray, reminiscent of the sky at dusk. You run your fingers over the fabric, feeling the high-quality weave and the warmth it promises. On a small wooden table sits a bowl of dried lavender, releasing its soothing scent into the room. You take a deep breath, and the lavender settles in your chest, slowing your heartbeat to a peaceful rhythm. There is no electricity here, only the soft, flickering light of a single beeswax candle in a glass lantern. The flame dances slowly, casting long, peaceful shadows that move like silent, tall grass on the walls. You notice a bookshelf carved directly into the trunk of the tree, filled with books of poetry and maps of stars. You choose a book, its leather cover worn and soft, and hold it for a moment, feeling its history. The ceiling is high and vaulted, with sturdy beams that show the beautiful grain of the wood. Every corner of this room has been designed for rest, with no sharp edges or harsh colors. You move toward a hanging chair, suspended by silk ropes from a central branch. As you sit, the chair sways almost imperceptibly, mimicking the gentle movement of the tree in the wind. You lean your head back and close your eyes, listening to the muffled rustle of millions of leaves outside. It sounds like a soft, constant shh, a lullaby sung by the forest itself. You feel the gentle vibration of the tree, a slow and steady pulse of life that is incredibly grounding. In this high place, you are protected from the wind and the rain, tucked away in a wooden cocoon. You realize that for the next few hours, there is absolutely nothing you need to do and nowhere else you need to be. The last sliver of orange on the horizon disappears, replaced by a deep royal purple that stretches across the sky. You watch through the window as the first star blinks into existence, a tiny diamond pinned to the velvet night. The forest below begins to dissolve into shadows, turning the ground into a distant, soft mystery. Up here, you are closer to the moon, feeling its cool silver light begin to wash over the wooden floorboards. The wind picks up slightly, but inside the treehouse it sounds only like a soft, rhythmic hum. It is a sound that reminds you of a distant ocean, waves of air crashing gently against the leaves. You reach out and touch the window glass. It is cool and smooth, a barrier between you and the vast night. The treehouse groans very slightly, a friendly wooden sound that shows the tree is flexible and strong. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for this height, for the perspective that only comes from being above the world. The problems of the day seem like tiny specks now, invisible and unimportant from this high vantage point. You notice a small telescope resting on a brass tripod aimed toward the constellations of the northern sky. You don't need to look through it to feel the vastness of the universe and the peace of your place within it. The candle on the table flickers, its golden light playing across the spines of the old books. You decide it is time to make this space even more comfortable, moving slowly and with intention. You light a small bundle of sage and sweetgrass, the smoke curling upward in lazy, elegant spirals. The scent is earthy and ancient, grounding your spirit and quieting any remaining thoughts. You find a small ceramic mug and pour a bit of warm chamomile tea from the copper kettle. The steam rises to meet your face, carrying the scent of flowers and honeyed rest. With every sip, you feel a wave of relaxation spread from your throat down to your fingertips. The transition from day to night is now complete, and the world is draped in a beautiful, silent black. You turn your attention to the sleeping nook, a built-in alcove lined with soft, aromatic cedar planks. The mattress is thick and supportive, covered in a fitted sheet of the finest, coolest cotton. You begin to arrange the pillows, each one filled with soft down that yields perfectly to your touch. There are large, square European shams and smaller, soft bolsters to support your neck and back. You fluff the largest pillow, watching it expand slowly, ready to cradle your head in total comfort. You pull back the heavy wool duvet, revealing the layers of flannel and silk hidden beneath. The bed smells faintly of sunshine and fresh air, as if the linens were dried in a high mountain meadow. You sit on the edge of the bed, feeling the gentle give of the mattress as it contours to your weight. The isolation here is a gift. There are no cars, no glowing screens, and no voices to interrupt your peace. You are a mile away from the nearest road, tucked into a secret pocket of the natural world. The only traffic is the occasional owl gliding silently past your window on feathered wings. You kick off your slippers, feeling the plush rug one last time before sliding your feet into the cool sheets. The sensation is exquisite, a perfect balance of crisp fabric and immediate, radiating warmth. You pull the heavy duvet up to your chin, feeling its weight settle over you like a gentle, protective hug. You are tucked in, surrounded by layers of softness that shut out the chill of the night air. The darkness of the room is now complete, save for the tiny glowing embers of the warming stone. You listen to your own breathing, noting how it has slowed to match the swaying of the branches outside. Every muscle in your body begins to let go, surrendering its tension to the mattress below. Your toes relax, your legs feel heavy and still, and your shoulders sink deep into the pillows. You are floating in a sea of blankets, high in the safety of the trees, ready for the deepest rest. The clock on the small wooden shelf has stopped, its ticking replaced by the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of the oak. Outside, the shadows have merged into a single, velvety darkness that feels protective rather than cold. You look up and notice a skylight directly above the bed, a portal into the infinite depths of the cosmos. The Milky Way is a river of spilled silver light, flowing silently across the ceiling of the world. Every star seems to pulsate with a soft, slow light, as if they are breathing in unison with the forest. You find yourself tracing the patterns of the constellations, their ancient shapes grounding you in time. A shooting star streaks across the dark pane of glass, a silent, fleeting wish in the middle of the night. The air in the room is perfectly still, carrying the faint, clean scent of the high altitude and the night sky. Far below, the ferns and forest floor are bathed in moonlight, but up here, you're part of the celestial world. You feel a deep sense of belonging, as if this high sanctuary was built specifically for your spirit to rest. The darkness is not empty. It is full of peace, a quiet canvas for your mind to rest upon. You shift your weight slightly, and the bed linens rustle with a sound like dry autumn leaves. Every movement is slow, intentional, and weighted with the beautiful heavy comfort of late-night fatigue. Your eyes begin to feel heavy, the lids dipping like the branches of a willow tree over a still pond. The world below is now just a memory, a distant place that you have left behind for this higher ground. You are a passenger on a giant, living being, anchored safely to the earth but touching the heavens. The moonlight creates a soft, silver rectangle on the duvet, a warm glow that requires no effort to watch. You realize that the silence isn't truly silent, but a symphony of very small, very peaceful noises. It is the sound of the universe resting, a low-frequency hum that vibrates in your very bones. You close your eyes for a long moment, simply feeling the sensation of being held in this wooden nest. From a branch nearby, the soft, low hoo-hoo of a great horned owl echoes through the night. The sound is mournful and sweet, a midnight greeting that makes the forest feel like a living home. You hear the tiny, rhythmic scratching of a squirrel in its nest, a few branches above you. It is a busy, comforting sound that reminds you that life continues in its most peaceful forms while you sleep. A light rain begins to fall, a gentle patter-patter on the shingled roof of the treehouse. The sound is melodic and hypnotic, a white noise provided by the clouds themselves. Each drop is a tiny percussion note, creating a lullaby that drowns out any remaining thoughts. You listen to the water trickling down the bark of the trunk, a natural irrigation for the giant that protects you. The scent of the rain, petrichor mixed with cedar, fills the room, fresh and invigorating yet calming. The wind sighs through the pine needles in the distance, a sound like a long, satisfied exhale. You feel the treehouse sway ever so slightly, a cradle-like motion that is impossible to resist. This movement is rhythmic and constant, a natural pendulum that lulls your consciousness into a fog. You are no longer thinking. You are simply experiencing the textures and sounds of the midnight woods. The boundaries between you and the tree seem to soften, as if you are becoming part of the oak's dream. A cricket chirps once, then twice. From somewhere deep in the bark, a tiny sentinel of the night. Your breath has slowed significantly, each inhale deep and cool, each exhale warm and releasing. The duvet feels even heavier now, a warm, safe pressure that anchors you to the present moment. The images in your mind are beginning to blur, turning into soft washes of blue, silver, and green. You are drifting on the edge of a great, calm lake of sleep, ready to let the current take you. Everything is perfect. Everything is still, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. The mattress beneath you seems to soften even further, as if it is slowly turning into a cloud of pure silk. You feel a gentle tingling in your toes as they finally let go of the last remnants of the day's tension. This sensation of release travels upward, soothing your ankles and the calves of your legs with a warm glow. Your knees feel light, and the heavy muscles of your thighs sink deeply into the receptive layers of the bed. It feels as though the floor of the treehouse has vanished, leaving you floating safely in a pocket of warm air. You are suspended in the center of the great oak, cradled by the very essence of the tree's steady strength. The weight of the duvet no longer feels like fabric, but like a warm, protective mist draped over your form. Your hips and lower back settle into a perfect alignment, every vertebra in your spine finding its natural rest. You imagine yourself as a leaf, detached from the branch and hovering effortlessly on a warm, invisible current. There's no gravity here, only the soft pull of a peaceful dream waiting just behind your closed eyelids. Your hands, resting softly at your sides, feel open and relaxed, the palms warm and the fingers still. The pulse in your wrists is slow and steady, a calm drummer keeping time with the whispering forest. You feel the soft rise and fall of your chest, a movement so natural and effortless you hardly notice it. With every exhale, you release a little more of your physical self, merging with the quietude of the room. Your neck and shoulders, where the day's stress usually gathers, are now as loose and fluid as water. Your jaw relaxes, your teeth part slightly, and the muscles of your face become smooth and expressionless. Even your eyes, resting behind their lids, stop their searching and settle into a deep, internal focus. You are a vessel of peace, empty of worry and filled with the cool silver light of the midnight moon. The world is 1,000 miles away, and you are the only occupant of this silent, celestial kingdom. The feeling of weightlessness is absolute. You are drifting, swaying, and floating in a sea of calm. Behind your eyes, soft colors begin to swirl like ink, drop it into clear, dark water. Deep indigos, muted violets, and charcoal grays dance in a slow, hypnotic ballet of shadows. You imagine the treehouse rising slowly, lifting off its branches and sailing into the clouds above. The clouds are thick and soft, like giant pillows of cotton candy that muffle every remaining sound. You pass through a bank of mist, and the damp coolness feels refreshing against your dreaming mind. The air here is thin and sweet, the purest atmosphere you have ever tasted in your life. You can see the stars passing by the window, glowing like lanterns in a foggy harbor. The motion is so smooth it is barely a motion at all. It is more like a state of being. You are moving toward the center of the night, a place where thoughts turn into soft, wordless images. A memory of a calm lake surfaces. Its surface is still as a mirror, reflecting the giant oak tree. You watch the ripples in your mind fade away until everything is perfectly, beautifully flat. The warmth of the blankets seems to pulse gently, radiating a heat that feels like a loving memory. You're wrapped in a cocoon of safety, a shell of comfort that nothing can penetrate. The rustle of the leaves outside has become a distant, sandy whisper, like the breath of the earth. You find yourself sinking deeper into the downy softness, as if the bed is an endless well of rest. Your mind is a quiet hall, the doors to the past and future closed and locked for the night. Only the now exists, the warmth, the darkness, and the slow, heavy pull of approaching sleep. You're losing the sense of where you end and the bed begins, a beautiful blurring of boundaries. The internal clock of your body is slowed to a crawl, synchronized with the turning of the stars. You're standing on the very threshold of sleep, leaning forward into the velvet embrace of the dark. The threshold of sleep is a velvet curtain, soft and heavy, beginning to draw shut across your mind. You no longer feel the need to grasp at thoughts. They float away like dry leaves on a dark stream. The warmth of the blankets has become a part of your skin, a seamless layer of safety and heat. Your heart beats in a slow, deep rhythm, a soft thrumming that echoes the ancient life of the oak. You feel the bed sinking, or perhaps you're rising as the physical world loses its solid shape. The scent of cedar and lavender is now a faint, comforting ghost, haunting the edges of your senses. You're wrapped in a silence so profound it feels like a physical embrace from the universe itself. Every cell in your body is now heavy with the weight of gold, pressing you gently into the mattress. You let go of the last thread of awareness, watching it unravel into a beautiful, dark nothingness. The treehouse sways in a final, slow arc. A mother's hand rocking a cradle in a quiet room. You are not just in a tree. You are the tree, rooted in the earth and dreaming in the stars. The silver moonlight on the floor fades as your eyes settle into their final, heavy rest. A deep, restorative hum vibrates in the air, the sound of the forest breathing in its sleep. You are descending a long, soft staircase of clouds, each step bringing you closer to the dreamscape. There is no effort left in you, only a grand, sweeping yes to the call of the night. The wind outside has died down to a whisper, a secret shared between the leaves and the moon. You are a passenger on a ship made of shadows, sailing into a harbor of perfect, crystalline peace. Your mind is a mirror of the night sky, vast, dark, and filled with tiny, glowing points of light. The boundaries of the room dissolve completely. You're safe. You're held. You're exactly where you need to be for this journey to begin. The first dream begins as a soft glow on the horizon of your mind, a vision of the forest in a silver mist. You walk through the canopy without weight, your feet brushing the tops of the tallest pines. The air in your dream smells like rain-washed stone and the nectar of night-blooming flowers. You see the great oak from the outside, a glowing beacon of life against the velvet dark of the woods. Every leaf on the tree is a tiny, flickering candle, illuminating the path to a deeper rest. You drift toward the center of the forest, where the ancient trees stand in a circle of silent wisdom. They bow their heads as you pass, recognizing a spirit that has finally found its way home. The dreamscape is fluid and kind, shifting its shapes to provide whatever comfort you require. You see a river of liquid starlight flowing through the roots, a silver pulse of pure energy. You dip your hands into the light, and it feels like cool silk washing away the last of the world. The forest floor is a carpet of glowing moss, softer than any rug ever woven by human hands. You lie down in the dream, and the earth itself seems to rise up to cradle your tired form. The stars above are now so close you could reach out and pluck them like ripe, glowing fruit. But you choose instead to simply watch them, their light a lullaby for your wandering soul. The transition is complete. You are no longer visiting the dream. You are a part of it. Every breath you take in this state is a gift of healing, a quiet mending of the spirit. The treehouse remains your anchor, a steady point of light in the vast, beautiful dark. You sink deeper still, past the dreams, and into the hollow of a perfect, wordless sleep. The silence is absolute, the peace is total, and the rest is deeper than the roots of the oak. You are drifting in the heart of the night, a traveler at rest in the sanctuary of the stars. Sleep now, for the world is far away, and you are home in the high, quiet branches of peace. Where are you drifting over tonight? Let the weightlessness take over your body. If this story helped you find peace, please consider subscribing for more nightly journeys. Sleep well, traveler.